Hello everyone. I'm Robin, business analyst and expert in point of sale. So today I will help you to configure everything for the black box step by step, and we'll dive into it. I'm sorry for the QR code. I made it quite fast, so you will have a difficult time to write everything down. But seems difficult most of the time with hardware, so that's fine. You will get used to it. So today, how I will do my talk, I will just make a quick introduction with the context. Then I will do the hardware step by step. Then we will go to the network, and then we will finish with some questions. So for the context, when do you need a black box first? It's when you are using a restaurant in Belgium and you are doing a yearly turnover of more than 25,000, you must have a black box. Why do you need this? Because you have to make sure that the government know what you do and what you sell. So basically, they record everything about your business, about your sales. We also need a particular device, and we need to follow some rules when we are a reseller of point of sale app. And so Odoo is meet their requirements, and this is what I will show you. So for the hardware step by step, this is how I do the implementation most of the time. You don't need to do it exactly like that, but it will help you. I think it's the easiest way to do. So first, we will link the database to the IoT box. What's the IoT? It's a small bridge between the hardware and the database from Odoo. So basically, everything that you will connect, the printers, the scales, the payment terminals, and the black box will be connected directly to the IoT, and the IoT will forward the information to Odoo. We have two kinds of IoT, the physical one and the virtual one. The physical one is just a small box, and it's a Raspberry Pi, and this will run a little code of Odoo, and you will have this code by flashing the SD card. So it's a card that you will insert in the IoT, and it will run Odoo. Something important that you have to know is that all the drivers that will be used by the IoT are those done by Odoo, and you will see the difference with the virtual one, and it's a bit different. For the physical ones, we also use a specific printer server, which means that every printer that will be connected to the IoT will use this printer server. Also, we have to mention that the price for the physical IoT is 25 euros per month per IoT. So if you have two IoT, it will be 50. For the virtual IoT, it's only work on Windows, on Windows 10 and 11. It runs a small instance of Odoo once again, just like the physical, but it will be run as a service, so it's a task in the background. The big difference there is that the drivers used by the virtual are the one installed on the computer. So you have to make sure that the device worked by himself on the computer before you link it to Odoo. And to get this virtual IoT, you have to download the app, and you can just type Odoo download on Google, and you will find it. Make sure that you download the community app, even if you run the enterprise, because it's just a lighter version. And it doesn't really matter if you get the enterprise, but it will just be faster for you. And the pricing is free. So the biggest question here is, why would I go for the physical or the virtual IoT? Then we will see why. The virtual IoT was mainly done for one computer running Windows, and with every device connected directly on this particular computer. So let's say, in my example here, I have my computer running Odoo, and on this computer, I directly link the payment terminals and the printer, then it will work. But if I try to contact this specific IoT with a second computer, it will not work by default. So everything will be blocked. We can manage it, but we do not advise it. What can we do for that? Just go for the physical IoT. The physical IoT will just be able to get all the devices in the area, in the local network, and you will be able to contact every device from there. So if I have two computers, 3 laptops, 2 tablets, and everything, you will be able to contact them through the IoT. Let's go now in the printers. So now we know what the IoT is for. We can connect the printers. The printers will be linked through USB or just via the Wi-Fi to the IoT. We have one big rules for the printers is that it needs to follow the ESC POS protocol. If it does not follow this specific protocol, it won't be usable by Odoo, and you won't be able to use your printer at all. In Odoo, we recommend two printers, the Epson TM20 and the Epson TM30. The first one is just can just be connected with USB to the IoT directly. The second one can be used with the USB cable or via the Wi-Fi. Now we have the cache drawer, so we will just follow this schema, and so we have the computer linked to contact the IoT. The IoT contact the cache drawer, the printer, and the printer contact the cache drawer. So the cache drawer will be linked to the printer directly with the RG11 cable. So it's like a phone connector from before. And how it will work is that the printers will send the signal directly to the cache drawer, and it will open like that. So without that direct connection between the printer and the cache drawer, it will never work. And so the cache drawer will never open. Now we have done the first part of the implementation. Make sure that you test it now before plugging the black box. Because if you have issue now, it means that either you have a printer issue or an IoT issue. And you have to make sure that you isolate as much as possible the possible issue in order to proceed further, because with the black box, we can have something else and we will see it. Once you make the test and everything works fine, you manage to make a sale, and you were able to print a ticket and open the cache drawer, we can proceed, and now we will install the black box. For the black box, we have so the IoT, which will be connected directly to the black box. From the black box, you will have a serial cable, and because we can't directly plug a serial cable to the IoT, we will have to add another cable, which is an adapter, and it will just make the transition between the serial to the USB. So what's the black box? The black box is a small box that will allow the government to and Odoo to register all the sales that we will do in the point of sale. So it will register everything, and after on each receipt, you will have a signature. This signature will mean that every sales that you do are legal, and you are working with the certification. For the supported model of the black box, we have two right now. It's the BMC3 and the BMC4. And for the certified version, we certified the version from 13 to 18, but in Odoo, we only support the two latest versions, so it will be 17 to 19. And also, we support all the minor versions from 18, which means 18.1, 18.2, 3, 4, and 5, and now we will support 19, of course. And as a note, I remember this from the previous slide, we need an adapter to make it work. Some tips and best practice for the IoT. We always advise to plug every device before powering up the IoT. That means that if you know that you will be using a printer, a black box, and a cache drawer, you plug everything before you make it run. If you were using a specific configuration before in Odoo, like an EPOS printer, make sure that you disable the EPOS protocol and you make the printer work with the IoT. So every device that can work with the IoT, you make them work with the IoT. Also, make sure that some modules some device needs their module to work. Let's say for all payment terminals, you need specific module to use. Then make sure that, for example, Via Wallet is installed, Stripe is installed, something like that. For the black box, you need a specific modules, so make sure that POS Blackbox BE is installed. Also, never use the Android or iOS application from the store. Always generate a PWA app. This is something that you can install from the browser itself. So you will have to make some configuration in the browsers, and this is in the documentation. And when the configuration are done, it will be set on the browser. And if you generate the app from the browser, then you will inherit those configuration. Now, this is the hardest part. It's the network. So I won't go too deep in this because it's quite complex, but the main thing that I have to say about this is if you are not familiar with network, just ask for help. Every time there is something difficult in the IoT, it's because of the network configuration. So if you don't know what you do, just don't do it and just ask someone to do it for you. If you are using the IoT, make sure that you will use static IP and not use the DHCP. Also, if it's possible, use Ethernet cables every time it's possible. And for some reason, we have some competitors that are using other routers. It makes sense for them, but for us, it doesn't really make sense in the way we proceed for the installation. So if you don't know why you have a second router, just disable it and use your own router to make the post-installation. And for me, that's it. So if you have questions.
Thank you very much. There are currently two questions. The very first one is the Blackbox only required in Belgium or are there also other countries?
No, it's only for the Belgium. We had one in Sweden, but it's a different one. But yeah, it's only in Belgium. Each country has its law, each special law, let's say, rules. And for the Belgium, it's the Blackbox.
And you spoke about network at the end. Does Odoo provide any help with network setup?
Well, it will depend, but if you have a consultant, he can help, but it's always a matter of how good he is in network. And as it's not our job, it will really depend on the background of the consultant that you will have.
We're just getting in some more questions. We're just waiting for them to complete. So does IoT work only in Windows 10, 11 or also on Windows Server?
We can make it work on Windows Server. And most of the time we have it for a big warehouse, but it's not for the restaurant stuff, and not for the Blackbox then. But we have it on Windows Server.
Is the IoT a Raspberry Pi?
Yes, and we actually recommend the model 3 and 4. But if you are using kiosk, then you want to go for the 5 because well, it just runs better.
Do we need to make any changes on IoT box configurations after migrating Odoo from an old version like 15 to 18?
Yeah, so most of the time what I advise is that you make sure that you always have the latest version, and this you can find it on IoT.nightly, and there we have all the version. Always take the latest, so you have the latest there, and the latest also there, it's the same. Just take the name, because the one with the name, otherwise you will have like 10 latest in your folder, and it's quite impossible to know which one it is. So just take the latest. And make sure that when you make the switch, you remove the IoT from the IoT app and redo the complete configuration.
There's a question, how would we link the printer to the Blackbox?
So you don't really link the printer to the Blackbox, you link the printer to the IoT box. And since the printer will be linked to the IoT, it will be also linked to Odoo, and same for the Blackbox. So everything will be linked together and you will be able to make it work.
If you want to see a simple solution, well, we can skip this one. Is it possible to make a gift card or loyalty programs?
Not yet. It was disabled for some reason before, and since everything needs to be certified, we didn't take time to certify it back, but it will come. It will come soon, I hope.
How do weighing scales fit into all of this? Any recommendations? Example for a butchery setup?
So normally in a butchery you don't need the Blackbox, but well, it doesn't really matter because it works just like other device, so you can just plug your scale and that's fine. It just need to be detected by the IoT. But if you take the recommended model, which are the Medler Toledo Arriva S, it will work.
Perfect. Is there any possibility to make printers accessible from other networks through the IoT?
Okay, so now the L&D is working on that. So we have two protocols to make the communication between Odoo and the printers. Right now we were using long pooling, which means that we had to be in the local network to make it work. Now we are using WebSockets, which means that we can be outside the network. Normally it's supposed to work. I think it's already the case in 19, but I have to, I'm not sure yet. But if it's not yet the case, it will be the case soon.
A slightly more technical question. Has Odoo considered replacing the serial connection with an internal FTDI interface to provide native USB support for IoT connections?
No, we just have the adapter right now.
The question is, am I correct that is one Raspberry Pi for all devices, or is it one Raspberry Pi per network device?
It will depend. So for few of them, so if we take only printers, Blackbox, if we only take printers on Blackbox, yes, it's only one for every device. Just make sure that you have enough USB port and stuff like that. But let's assume it's the case and everything is working with Wi-Fi, you can do it. But for payment terminals, you need one IoT per payment terminals, because what will do the terminals, it will contact directly the IP of the IoT. And because of that, we need one different IoT per payment terminal.
Can Odoo be connected to a Wayscale machine using nomenclature?
Not really. We have a workaround to make it work. I suggest you to come at the post stand if you can do it.
Is it a must to have a black box for a fast food without any place to eat inside?
I'm not sure. So if you don't have any place to eat inside, I'm not sure. But normally you should just ask the government for this.
Then maybe I'll wait for this one to be complete. But do we configure different IP addresses in the same IoT per device, or can we use the same one?
You will have one IP address for the IoT and one IP address for every specific printers, let's say. So for the static IP, you will have to do it from the router. You cannot do it from the IoT itself.
Question from the chat. Is it advisable to have the IoT network on a separate VLAN, or will that not function?
So we had the question quite a few times now. I hope we can soon, but right now it's not the case.
And I think one last one. How to find the IP address of IoT Box if it's not showing display or EPOS printer?
So you can just link a screen to it. Otherwise, we have some commands. I think they're in the documentation, but I'm not sure about this. But you can use a terminal and find the device on the network. But the easiest way is to put a screen directly on the IoT, and it will display the IP.
There's just one more question coming in. I think the question is, are there stability differences between IoT Box and virtual IoT?
So for the stability, I would say it's the same. You just have to, the very big difference is about the drivers. So let's say that you have one printer that is not supported by Odoo. You have more chance to make it work with the virtual IoT, because it will use the drivers from the computer and it will be easier to set up.
We're still waiting. Which kind of smartphone can be used?
Any smartphone that are not too old.
Do you want to define too old?
Something that works.
Perfect. I think unless there's any other questions, any other last-second questions, I think that covers it. That's it. That's all the questions.
Okay. Well, thank you.